Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Lion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. My voice has got a positively Thane-esque timbre to it today. What's going on with that? Where's that rattling coming from? Either way, let's rattle and hum a little bit here as we do another random Afterbirth run as AZAZEL. It has been probably like 6 weeks since I've done an AZAZEL run, so I'm not going to be sad about this. TT6SCZR4. You might say, Northern Lion, don't you pronounce it as Z in Canada? That's true, but, oh, that was really bad damage. In my time, you know, on the internet, as a quote-unquote content producer slash creator, I'll admit that I've Americanized a lot of my diction. And you know what? Fucking starting right now, bud, I'm not gonna let my culture slip away. You fucking A right, I'm not. I'm exclusively gonna talk about the NHL playoffs and the fucking Mac's on fire right now, man. Shouldn't joke about that. Fort McMurray in Alberta is oil boom town is actually like alight as I record this. So, you know, best wishes to everybody from there in the surrounding area. That's like absurd. That's scary as hell. I wish you the best. The Empress and the Fool. Pretty much describes my wedding photos. Hi-yo! I'm not the Empress. Let's just keep moving on here. I'm gonna save one key for the next floor. I mean, we AZAZEL, we got Small Rock. It's a great situation, but the last time I said we've won a run, we lost the run because of my own idiocy and also, you know, disappointing play. But hopefully this time, our relatively great start means that we are set for life. All we're gonna need is to pick up probably like a little bit of HP. If we can get HP from our boss and not take a relentless amount of stupid damage, we should be okay. Toothpicks is also awesome, but I'm gonna save our money for now. I'm gonna save our key. It means we can go to the item room on the next floor 100%. Well, not 100% because I could accidentally like walk into a little bit of damage somehow, or walk into a golden chest, I mean to say. Let's Fool card out of here. It's not my favorite use of the Fool card, but I'll do so. And the other thing is that 9 cents also, of course, gives us an outside chance of maybe having an arcade. I doubt that we'll be able to take advantage of said arcade. But maybe we can take advantage of Nick Arcade and win ourselves a free Indiglo watch. You know, as I got older... When I was like... I wonder how relatable this is, but if you're of a certain age... You know, I used to spend like my Saturday and Sunday mornings. This is before the internet. And, you know, this is probably going to sound like back in my day, and I don't really mean it to... Yeah, let's take Lemon Mishap. I don't really mean it to sound like this, but if you wanted to watch a television show, this is the greatness of the internet revolution right here. If you want to watch anything on Earth right now, you just go, you know, Google... The Daily Show, 2004, October 15th, and then... This content is not available in your country unless you live in the United States. But they're, oh, you know, I thought we lived in the future. But really, you have access to, like, all content. And I do, too. It's not like I'm exempt from it. I have access to, like, the sum total of content that man has produced in his time on the Earth. I guess we'll take Book of Belial, but I'm actually going to roll Lemon Mishap for humor's sake. We might as well explore the rest of the floor here. When I was a kid, you want to watch... Legends of the Hidden Temple, you want to watch Nickelodeon Guts, you want to you have it, you know, you gotta make sure that you're fucking awake at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, which is not a problem for a 10-year-old child, I think, most of the time. You don't start being a piece of shit that gets up at, like, noon until you're, you know, in high school, I assume, myself included, you know. Okay, that was an unfortunate telepills, but I guess we never have to go back to that room. And it was, I forgot what point I was trying to make over the course of this really belabored discussion, but, kids these days don't know how lucky they got it, man. I remember now where I was going. Watching those shows, because they're all on YouTube now, as an adult, you realize that the, like, working budget for an episode of Legends of the Hidden Temple was, like, probably $500. And that sounds like a lot. You might say, well, back in 1998, that was a lot of money. Well, I mean, it was more, but it wasn't a lot of money for a television studio. No wonder people were making all these kids' game shows and shit. With the prizes, you go on fucking Wheel of Fortune, and for playing competitive Hangman, you could make $15,000 to $40,000 in a half hour. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. You go on Legends of the Hidden Temple, they test your knowledge, they test your memory, they test your physique, they test your ability to solve the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. If you win, you get like a $300 trip to space camp. Sure, I mean, you're a kid. It's a pretty formative moment, I guess, to go to space camp when you're a child. But in the same, your parents probably flew you out to fucking, you know, Orlando, Florida, or wherever the Nickelodeon studios were. I think they were in Orlando, or maybe they were in California. But either way, they probably spent like twice as much money getting you out there just so you could be on the television program. Nickelodeon's making a fucking fortune off you. The space camp prize gets donated, and then you come in second. You get a fucking, like an Indiglo watch. You might not even know what an Indiglo watch is. Did they come back? Everything old is new again, but I don't know if Indiglo watches ever came back. They're a watch whose face glows in the dark. So that, you know, when you're a kid, and you're always in all these dark places, you're like spelunking through caves and stuff like that, looking for hidden artifacts, and you can see what time it is. Which is really relevant, because if you don't get out of that cave and get home for dinner, your mom's gonna beat your ass. I will open some of these. I have a golden chest. I've got a golden ticket. What are we gonna do with our lemon mishap? We'll probably not use it against enemies that can fly. Do I like Liberty Cap or Burnt Penny? I think I'll go Burnt Penny. Seems advisable in our present situation. We'll be able to get a number of bombs out of it. I don't know if we're ever gonna get more coins out of Head of the Keeper, but I'm hoping maybe, I guess, like, if we get Fate's Reward, that could give us coins. If it gets the Head of the Keeper effect, which I think it might, and then we get a lot of bombs, and, you know, all of a sudden, Bob's your uncle. Sure. We'll take God's Flesh over Kamikaze, because it's a very easy decision to make. That one's, effectively a no-brainer. We've been to our item room, so we do still have our, shop remaining on this floor, but I don't know if we're gonna find the ability to get to it. Depends on my level of enthusiasm for this run once we find our boss. So, by the way, I feel like God's Flesh is effectively... Oh, I was gonna say that it effectively does nothing for us, but it appears that that is not the case. I'm imagining that every tick of damage that comes as a result of our Azazel beam has a certain small percentage chance to impart the God's Flesh shrinking effect. Am I missing, like, some religious lore for why God's Flesh shrinks enemies? Or is this referential and I don't understand it? Is it referencing the Bible? Is it referencing a John Carpenter film? Trick question. If it was referencing a John Carpenter film, I would know what it was. Okay, you are... I can't step on you, unfortunately. I really feel like, might as well try. I feel like if God's Flesh is intended to be useful, more useful at least, it should really make it so enemies who have like an on-death effect, like, you know, they explode, it should minimize that. Otherwise, what's the point in stomping them, right? So I'd like to keep Burnt Penny. We might as well use store credit to buy something, and I think the compass is a reasonably good option there. We have 4 bombs. Let's peep the possibility of a second secret room here and here. Alrighty then. It is a flying I don't know, man. His flagellum is close enough to the ground that it's maybe possible that they could get hit by that lemon mishap, although it appears that that is not the case. A little bit of a tight dodge there, but we made it happen. No deal with the devil, and all we got is a Sister Maggie. Very unfortunate. Only unfortunate, I guess I should say, because of the fact that, you know, it could have been much better. It's not like we got something that made our run worse, it's just, it made it worse than I would have expected. It's like, but it's a bullshit argument, you know? You might say, well, you got Sister Maggie when you didn't have Sister Maggie before. Imagine if you go into work. Let's go with a different example here. It's not your friend. I gotta construct this in a very narrow subset of ways in order to fulfill my narrative and have you agree with my point and assume that it's your decision to do so. Imagine that your mom is like, hey, you got a truck and my friend's moving this weekend. You think you could help him out? He'll pay you. And then you go, oh, okay, that sounds good. What's the reason? I'm going to take quad shot here, even though our rate of fire is going to be horrendous. What do you think is a reasonable rate discounted, of course, because it's a family friend, to help someone that is not your immediate family member move. I would say, you know, if you're there for 5 or 6 hours, they should buy you lunch and give you 20 or 30 bucks. I think that's very reasonable. You'd pay a mover 5 times that, and you get to have a little company, you know, you're socializing, but you're paying them for their time. What if you did that and he gave you like $5 after 5 hours of work? And then you're like, well, that's not really that much money, considering I gave up most of my Saturday and, you know, a little bit of my energy in order to help you out here. And he's like, well, you should be thankful you got anything at all. That's what that Fallen fight was for me. I went in there expecting, you know, to help them move, get my lunch, and get 20 bucks out of it, maybe. And then they're like, hey, here's, you know, $1.50. The coffee shop down the street has small hot waters for that. Don't spend it all in one place, right? There's an opportunity cost associated with this. You could have slept in. That's worth some of your money right there. We just cannot get HP on this run. So unfortunately, we will not be taking anything from that deal with the devil, and honestly, this could be our second secret room, but apart from that, I think I'm pretty much done with this floor. Okay, give me some, like, balls of steels. Explosive diarrhea is not that bad. Puberty's not bad. Hematemesis, we can take to the next floor. We'll probably take telepills, though. We might be able to get a free boss rush item. So at least we did get... I mean, more options is good, and it gave us some choices, but we've had that for a while now. Quad shot's okay, and Guppy's head is actually like a pretty good pickup here. I only say quad shot's okay because it's a little risky in our present situation because of our slow rate of fire. But certainly, I'm relatively pleased with the way this run is going right now, but most of its strength is just implicit because we're AZAZEL. You know, we didn't get the beam here, we didn't start with, or we didn't earn the ability to fly, we just sort of got it to start with. The devil. We can take that in with us to this boss fight, which is really, really close to us, by the way. Dare I say that as of right now, this actually feels a little harder than the Keeper run we just did. And this is actually very bad. I was gonna say, get through to that boss as quickly as possible. Even though I did take damage from a neutral fly, which is embarrassing. Because that boss, if we gave it some space, could hit us, you know, 2 or 3 times by the time we actually got into effective range, so... we handled that relatively well, I think. We get Speedball. Okay. I mean, Speedball is a decent pickup. It contributes to Spun. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that maybe like a single HP upgrade would be a viable pickup at this point. And I am using Telepills, and the Fool card earlier, not really to get out of Boss Rush. Obviously, we're not there yet, but to give ourselves... the maximum amount of HP possible by ensuring that we don't have to take damage coming out of cursed rooms, but, I gotta admit, it's getting a little, not necessarily frustrating, but I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for, waiting on the world to change, you know? One day this generation is gonna rule the population. I always found that song so presumptuous, and I'm of the generation, or in the generation that John Mayer was singing to. We don't have any cards yet, so I'm just gonna leave that for now, but if we get a good card, we might take it. If you're unfamiliar with what the fuck I'm talking about, 2008, 2007, somewhere in there, I think it's 2008, John Mayer comes out with a song. It's called Waiting on the World to Change. In the song, it's all about, you know, hey, well, some people in society have antiquated beliefs. Sure, I mean, I agree with that. I consider myself a relatively progressive person. But then he says... one day this generation is gonna rule the population. That's, barring some kind of, like, catastrophic generational collapse. That's pretty much, you know, indisputably true. But until then, we're waiting on the world to change. Yo, John Mayer, every generation has thought that it was gonna save the world here. What makes you think that our generation, and when I say our generation, I mean my generation, the one you're trying to sell records to, is gonna save the world? It's completely possible that when people who are my age now find themselves elected into positions of power, they will find that absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's very self-righteous and pandering to say, you know, well, when we get in power, this won't be a problem anymore. I think, you know, that ignores the fact that, you know, everybody considers that they're fighting their own noble fight. Nobody really considers themselves the villain of their own story, I assume, and Quite frankly, I'm not going down to HMV, because in this apocryphal story it still exists, and picking up your album because I find your song has a logical fallacy contained within it designed to make me feel like I'm a smarter person than I actually am. You treat me like the idiot I deserve to be treated, John Mayer, and perhaps I'll consider buying your album because I'll find it less disingenuous. Farting baby. I have to feel like our right choice would have been the right choice on that one. Yeah, I was more proud of that accidental kind of wordplay there than I should have been. What is this? Get out of jail free. Yeah, we'll take it because it's more interesting than the Yara rune, but it's not like the Yara rune is disinteresting or uninteresting. It's good, but we have no use for it. No, that's not true. We don't have no use for it. We just can't use it. we don't have the ability to hold on to like deep pockets or something like that right now, so... Alright, in here we get more bombs. This is Depths 1, right? Yeah, so we're actually, like, making great time. Figured we'd try to get, like, a single HP upgrade, like our first one of the entire run, I think. Oh, no, that's not true. Just after more options, we did get HP, apparently. Let's go back in here. And, you know, just get rid of the death card, because it's going to make things confusing in here. Just give me an HP upgrade. That's your... Yeah, thank you. Okay, now we can actually take a deal with the devil. I guess we gave away our other HP upgrade in the deal with the devil where we got Book of Belial, which I then just, of course, never touched again. I don't know anybody else when I think of Book of Belial. I touch myself. I don't know anybody else. Well, we can't not use a key. Let's try to make sure we only use one key. Really hoping for a Cricket's Head or something in there. But you know what? If we get one of Cricket's Head or Small Rock on a run, I'm feeling good. So I'm not going to complain about not getting Cricket's Head there. Be a little bit disingenuous. Very important to remember, we have one red heart. So that's actually a very good thing, because if we get a deal with the devil, we can take a deal without being scared now that we have Curse of the Unknown. Or despite having Curse of the Unknown. I don't think I'd use Get Out of Jail Free to do Boss Rush. It just seems more exciting to kind of save it for the potential to do Mega Satan later. But that's why I'm using our Myriad Bombs here to blow up skulls in the hopes that, you know, black cards would be nice, but also a teleport card would be fantastic. Sad Onion, probably better than an item that is just bad in the form of Anarchist Cookbook. Anarchist Cookbook, one of those items that, you know, the upside just never really gets there. Unless you have Pyromaniac and no other options. You're never going to be like, oh, Anarchist Cookbook, thank God. Or your damage is just unbelievably abysmal. High Priestess. I mean, it's a good card. We'll try to use it on our next stream, just simplify our lives a little bit. 27 cents? Sure, let's use a Judgment. That's, 1 cent for every dress that Katherine Heigl wore in her film with Cyclops from the X-Men franchise, where they sang Benny and the Jets. Yeah, I've seen 27 dresses. I was on a bus to New York City with a bunch of middle-aged... I was going to add another word there, but really, I'm just going to call them middle-aged people. That's what they are. And they were losing their shit over 27 dresses. Why did we watch 27 dresses? Because going to New York, it's like an exotic thing. I don't even mean that to be like, whoa, oh, New York City. The sixth largest city in the world is not exotic to this world traveler. No, I just mean, they on the bus, they're like, we're going to New York, everybody, get excited. We're going to watch a bunch of movies about New York City. Did we watch, you know, Woody Allen's Manhattan? Did we watch, I don't know, Cloverfield even? Nah, dog. We watched Made in Manhattan, 27 dresses, and a movie that I don't even remember the name of, but it was about like a 6-year-old kid who falls in love with another 6-year-old kid, and they live in the Upper East Side, and you're like, hey, even like society's uber rich have problems. Their kids have crushes on other kids. I mean, you feel for them. For now. I wish we had a death card for this room. I also wish I was a little bit taller. Wish I was a baller. Wish I had a good look good. I just can't muster any enthusiasm to speak about this room. I'm sorry. I wish that I could. I'm done with killing spiders. I don't even want to crack that door open there. I mean, how does this run look? We got 2 guppy items and a really good bead on a deal with the devil potentially here, so I like our odds there. Yeah, I mean, if we can get Humbling Bundle, we should get... alright, never mind. I think we should go donate some black tar heroin. Narcotics grade cashish. There you go. And then go fight the boss, and we're hoping that maybe we just get an item that's good enough to do boss rush. I mean, that would be preferable, although it would, I mean, you pay a little cost in your time, but that's about it. It would have to be pretty goddamn great, though, because I expect myself to take a lot of damage on boss rush. Wait, where's our card? It's over here. I expect myself to take a lot of damage on boss rush, part and parcel with the fact that we have low range, and I'm not talking about my favorite American Chinese food menu item. Now, we are doing a ton of damage. The unfortunate part is just that unless we're guppy, which we're not going to be, it's going to be a pain in the butt to do boss rush, and I don't really want to forego our chance to fight Mega Satan to use get out of jail free, which may not even work to open the boss rush door. You know, Little Brim is good, and it does solve our range problem, but I don't think it's good enough to deal with my anxiety over how much HP we have left because of Curse of the Blind. Now, it turns out we were at full HP, but I maybe got a little gun-shy there. What does gun-shy mean? I only know it from the, you know, Exile in Guyville track. Okay. I wish that our flies lasted a little longer. I wish there would a girl who looked good, I would call her. I wish I had a bat and a cat with a hat and a 54 Impala. I've never actually, like... Well, that's not true. I've probably heard that song before. But I mostly know it from other people referencing it to me. I believe that is Skilo's I Wish. And if I remember correctly from YouTube comments... it was... playing into Dan Giesling's hand right there. It was on the American Pie 1 soundtrack, is that correct? I've also never... apparently this is the episode where I say I've never done something and then immediately remember that I have. I don't know that I've ever seen all of American Pie 1. I've seen a couple of scenes. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But I've never... I don't think I've ever seen the film with a, you know, the ability to have a cohesive narrative thread tied throughout. You think Jason Biggs would still have a career if he was named Jason Smalls? You might say, well, you know, Biggie Smalls had a career. I mean, that's true, but that's because his name is like a... it's got some wordplay in it. Ooh, yes, Curved Horn, absolutely. Jason Smalls doesn't have... it sounds like a junior partner in a bad accounting firm. But if the accounting firm was called Biggie and Smalls, I'm Jerome Biggie and I'm Jason Smalls, that would be perfect. He already has the name Biggs. He should just be called Smallsy Biggs. Let's just pretend that never happened. Okay, we're on Utero 2, we still have full HP. I mean, we should probably explore these rooms to see if we can get a deal with the devil. My enthusiasm for this run is like a 6.5 out of 10. And I say this every time, because people always get offended. I call things 6s a lot. Like, a 6 is like my average grade for something. And I like things that are average, man. If I have an average meal, people go, oh, what do you think about it? You know, it's like a 6, 6.5. People are like, oh, sorry, you can pick the restaurant next time. That's pretty good. You go to med school, you get a 65 average. You know what they call you when you get out? They call you doctor. You know I have to be a little bit like, don't call me doctor. I beg her. My friends call me Biggie. That being said, people are always like, what do you think about this? By the way, if you don't say that it's an 8 or above, I'm going to take offense to it. But my enthusiasm for this run is about average, and that's not a bad thing. On an average day, I usually have quite a good time for myself. But, people, they take offense to it, man. I think it's a product of, like... It's a product of our education system, if you'll allow me to soapbox. Where... We should really... when you put it in this way, when you put it in no uncertain terms, it sounds horrible. We should give more 10-year-old kids C's. And I mean that sincerely. The way that our, at least in the schools that I went to, our education system was basically set up in such a way that if you did the work and you sort of knew what you were doing, you're getting an A. In high school, it was like, well, what do you need to... By the way, an A in the province where I grew up was like an 80 out of 100. Not a 90. I know in America it's a 90. So it's a little bit of a different... it's a sliding scale, let's say. In the end, it doesn't matter, because you're still competing. People are like, oh, Canadian school is so much easier. Well, I mean, not really. You know, you're still competing against a relatively proportional amount of people to get into a limited number of, you know, undergraduate spots in college. It's the same, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It doesn't really matter what the letter grade is if, you know, when you apply for school, they're like, well, we got 30,000 kids that have a 92 average, you know? It's not all A's are equal. But in high school, it's like, what do you need to get an A in the class? Well, fucking show up. That's step one. What else are you going to do? You're 15 years old. Just show up, pay attention for like 2/3 of the class, do the assignments, don't hand them in late. There you go. You got an A. Welcome to university. You've demonstrated a core level of competence that we feel entitles you to going to a post-secondary institution. But that's not the way that it works in the real world, at least in my experience for the most part, you know? You have to... You gotta motivate people to pursue their genuine talents, man. And the way that I think that we should do that is by starting young and giving 8 and 9-year-old kids C-minuses. Again, this is where the logic falls apart a little bit. But I think if little Timmy comes in and you're like, hey Timmy, what's 7 times 8? And he says, oh, I don't know. And you go, Timmy, did you do the homework? And he says, no, I got distracted. And you say, all right, Timmy. Enjoy spending the next year of your life doing 3rd grade again. There's no parent-teacher conference, and if you do it again, you slip back a grade. We need to get the European football system in here. If you fail a grade twice, and there's no medical reason found for your failure, then you get relegated. But if you get the highest score in your class, you get promoted like 6 grades, and then you get to compete against, you know, the quantum physics department at Cambridge. And if you can't hang, that's the beauty of the system, baby. It's a meritocracy. If you can't hang with Stephen Hawking, welcome back to 6th grade. You're 28 now. Time to nut up or shut up. Yo, where's my guppy item here? Obviously, I would like to just add that this was all farcical in nature. I'm not an educator nor a school administrator. I have no idea how, on a broad sense, or from a broad sense, children should be educated. And I understand that there are children that require special attention. And it's probably a little bit shitty to say, if your 8-year-old doesn't know what 9 times 8 is, that they should be sent back to kindergarten. I was mostly speaking in generalizations, intended to be humorous in nature, as indicated by the absurdity of placing a 10-year-old in the company of Dr. Stephen Hawking, one of the smartest men who's ever existed in human history. And if you take offense to that, well, it's taking all of my power to not make a long, slow farting noise with my lips. That would sound something like... Didn't come out right. Anyway, we're almost at the end of this AZAZEL run. More like a snoozle. Not really, though. It's been okay. I wish that I had, well, I'm not going to sing I Wish again, but I wish that I had some idea of what my HP looked like, and, I wish that I had some extra range, because I am probably going to try to fight Mega Satan, and this whole, house of cards here, lucky dodge, this whole house of cards could fall apart, can't do anything with that, when we get down to that Mega Satan fight. I don't think it will. Like, our HP is relatively good, and we're gonna have 4 items with which to, you know, finance our Mega Satan fight, but it could go shitty. Could go shittily. Is that an expression that makes any sense at all? Alright. The Isaac fight is admittedly, a a little bit of a piss off. Yeah, just spawn right on top of me. A little bit of a piss off when your range is so bad, but we have to delicately balance, you know, getting in there and getting out of there. Getting out of there is arguably the more important part, I would assume. Farting Baby, offering a little bit of defense in these trying times. We have an okay amount of HP. Lower our tier delay. We did get Fate's Reward. Mr. Mega. We should be able to win this, let's be real. Use our get out of jail free card. I think I'm just gonna, like, I'm gonna do, like, 4 extra rooms. Just to try to get, more chests, if possible. Because I wasn't thrilled with what we got from our, ooh, golden bombs. As if 77 weren't enough. But, I'm not thrilled with the outlook of our new items here, that's for sure. But I don't really want to do the entire floor. Alright, you know what? That's good enough. Let's do this. I'm hoping that with each phase of the Mega Satan fight, we'll be able to end it with like 3 shots directly to the face. Yeah, 3 shots of life for all night, you dig it. And then I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. That's when, you know, Sonny Chiba from Camp Low starts rapping so quickly in his velvet tones. And then he'll be sipping Amaretta. The Gucci Gracious, he'll be sipping Amaretta. They float the tri-states draped in the Coolie High. The Southern Jackin' High Jack, I can't remember. It just gets, you know, it goes too fast, but it's got the velvet smoothness and the 70s funk that just don't quit. Please. I'm a little scared, actually. Now that I'm, you know, 4 hits deep on this run. Great name for a Camp Low album. Now that I'm 4 hits deep on this run, I'm starting to feel a little bit under pressure, pushing down on me, and is pushing down on you. Oh man, that's rough. Okay. Time to nut up. Good shit. We got Mr. Mega Bombs. Fly into my Mr. Mega Bombs. And then get hit. Oh, that was scary. It's the range, man. It's the Azazel range. Don't do any attacks. That's right, you just fucking stand there. The bomb did not hit. Farting Baby is going absolutely apeshit here. We have to take almost a defensive approach to this fight. Farting Baby. Just, oh my god, use Farting Baby. Are you seeing this? He's doing it! Farting Baby created daylight for me. I can't believe it. Farting Baby has become the new Dry Baby of our generation. Worth it. Get in there. We did it! That was very scary, but it made it happen. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.